the Ukip MP Douglas Carswell, who fought that and won Clacton by-election, is with me now. Douglas Carswell, wasn't so long ago that you were a Tory MP. Did you know the party was up to this?
No, I didn't. And frankly, it's shocking. We ought to be shocked about this. I hope we haven't become so cynical about the political process that we just shrug our shoulders and think this is acceptable behaviour.
But you heard Gavin Miller, the QC who specialises in electoral law, says everybody's up to it.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's good enough. And that's the sort of thing MPs said at the time of the expenses scandal. It's simply wrong to create a... Look, this is elementary stuff. Anyone who runs a party knows that in a by-election, you have a £100,000 spending limit. It's not just that they seem to have flouted that. Look, for heaven's sake, if they're not going to be straight about how they win elections, these are the people who want to run our country. It's simply intolerable. You have to have a law that makes sure that you cannot, in effect, have an unfair advantage and buy an election, and you have to enforce it.
But the Conservatives say, look, we've accounted for everything and it's all above board and it's fine. Can that be true?
Well, you have the evidence sitting in front of you. Your investigation, and fantastic job it is, suggests that there are some questions that they certainly need to answer.
So what are you going to do about it? What's UKIP going to do? I mean, can you sue? Can you get the police to prosecute?
First of all,
what are you going to do?
Nigel was absolutely right when on the night of the Newark by-election he raised this issue. Once again, he's been pressing and ahead of the curve. But I think what we need to do is look at whether or not the Electoral Commission has enough powers to oversee this. Look,
will you be raising this in the House?
I will certainly be raising it with the Electoral Commission. I think the Electoral Commission needs extra powers so that they can deal with this.
You can't have a law. It's very interesting you should say that, because in fact we did go to them and they said, look, we know better than anybody. We do not have enough powers.
And I think that is the problem. Look,
But are you ever going to get MPs to vote to police themselves?
I think you can do that. I mean, part of the reason why we've seen this huge apparent overspend is the dire state of the big corporate parties means that when they have a by-election, they can't bus in volunteers because they don't have any, so they have to pay staffers to go and stay in these hotels to do the job. This is not how democracy is supposed to function.
Well, I mean, we are a mere media organisation, a news organisation. Will UKIP be making its own investigation into this?
I'm certainly going to take away the
Here you are, you can have this lot. Yeah, but they're all yours.
We cannot have a situation where you've got a legal spending limit of £100,000 and in effect a big corporate party can come in and just disregard the rules.
But what are we going to say to your followers tonight? Are we going to say that you're going to take this away and get it investigated? Or are we going to say Douglas Carswell is going to go and talk to the Electoral Commission and not a lot will happen?
Well, I think we need to talk to the Electoral Commission, because only if the regulator has the power to investigate, I think we'll get somewhere. We heard from the QC, the chances of the police taking this up are negligible.
Well, but you have the right to call the police's attention to it. Will you be doing that?
I'll certainly look at the Electoral Commission. I'm not sure about the legality of complaining to the police. I think there's a time limit of a year on that.
Well, but there are other laws that could be investigated, under which this could be investigated.
Certainly something needs to be done, because you cannot have a £100,000 spending limit and parties deliberately and apparently systematically flout
But I mean, the police can certainly say to you, we don't have the power, but you could test that. Are you going to ask the police? Are you going to ask the police to investigate this?
Well, let's see. I've just watched the report. I need to reflect on it, but I think something definitely needs to be done. You cannot have a situation where big corporate parties can throw vast amounts of money. It's just not how democracy is supposed to function.
Douglas Carswell, thank you for coming in.